says that simplifying enterprise CX. There's a bit of Steve Jobs quote it reminds me of, okay, which is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And taking it forward, he also said that design is a funny word. Some people think design means how it looks, but of course, if you think deeper, it's really how it works. Okay, so coming to that concept, okay, we would like to know about what's the genesis of F1, okay, because it is so passionate about design. I would also like you to talk about what you do. So let's take that journey, how the idea germinated, how did you come together, what's the problem that you are solving, what are the services that you are, what are the core ideas that you have?
Sure. So yeah, that's a brilliant question. So I think Genesis was because we worked together. So I was heading product and Dhayan was heading the design. And we worked together at this organization called Insight View, helped solve many product problems, right? And we were great at it, great tag team. And that is when the shift was happening in the industry, a lot of products coming out. And we knew we were like very good at it. We then that is when we thought, why not create our own thing. We always had this that let's do something of our own, create a much bigger impact, and we took that plunge, and it has been 10 years now. We started like bootstrapped, two of us with the least amount of investment out of Triple IT Hyderabad, shared desk space, and slowly grew. So very step by step, brick by brick, right? So fundamentally, we've grown the business, and today we are around just shy of 100, let's say, right? So that's the size of the organization. And one good thing is we've remained focused, razor sharp on the user experience and UI engineering, right? So the front end experience of it. And as you rightly said, design is not only how it looks, but how it works, right? So that's the core. You are solving it for a lot of other people, and then understanding business goals. We also, again, have worked a lot with enterprises, and we understand their business goals, users' motivations, create the path between them.
So in the whole spectrum of from creativity, okay, to logic, okay, how does design play? I mean, what is it? You really have to say, because you said it right, okay, because the combination of someone who's an engineer, you said, okay, and one concept, and on top of it, there's a layer of presentation, which is a simple one, okay. So that's it, guys. This team really worked well because both the skills of product and engineering and logic on top of it, making it simple, okay, really work pretty well. But I want to know, is it a science or is it just a like it? Okay, I mean, I really, because when from the marketing side we come, the way I said, we think it's if it looks good, it's great design, okay, but it's not seem to be. Steve Jobs said that, right? Okay, so you want to sort of talk more about your approach to the design?
All right, let Dhayan start because he's the chief designer.
Thanks. I think those rightly put the some of the important pieces there. It's definitely a science, right? So art is more of an expression, right? So artists, they try and express their things, and it's a layered information, right? So the extension of art is like we also have art houses. So some of the movies are layered, open-ended, so that this is let the audience try to figure it out, right? This is start, this to end, right? But design has to have some problem needs to be solved, but it has to still look good, it has to still look aesthetic, right? So the famous Buckminster Fuller should say, if my final output is it's not beautiful, maybe I've not solved it properly. So it doesn't mean that I solved the problem, but it still looks ugly, right? So it's a creative problem solving, right? So form follows function. So since we were targeting this, especially from the product mindset, so we are always behind this form follows function, which is like F1 drives philosophy. Right? So anything, any dot, any line, anything from our architecture or product design should have meaning, and it should have a function, right? So that's why we thought this mantra of so simplicity is not simple. It's people actually got to cautiously try and do it, right? So very simple. Take any I think one of the best products is share. So one of this his name is Kareem. I forgot his full name. Uh, he said even an alien, if they come to this world and see any chair, you don't need to teach how to sit. You don't need to teach even a kid, right? How to sit. The shape, the form is so nice. They all know if they try to figure it out. So that is what the intuitiveness of the design, right? So that's how powerful it can be. And for me, I still see design for two causes, right? One for business. I think everybody knows Steve Jobs. He's made good product, really solid product, and made a lot of money. That's what, because it was very different during early 2000s, right? Designers are not entertaining, right? So they were just called at the last moment to do the painting work, right? Today we have the opportunity to sit with the same source, right? There's the other side, which is like design can be for cost, which can also have huge impact. I mean, somebody like Laurie Baker, so who's a British architect who has to sell down in Kerala. For him, when somebody said, "What is great architecture?" He said that any building that has zero transportation is a great building. That means you have built something which is sustainable within that particular space. So he has made sure how a low-cost housing can be done, not just small row housing. He has built libraries, he's built like schools, he's built museums. So it's called like I know Costco. So it's like it's a separate, and still people are practicing as hollow brick things, the use of natural material. So I think design has a huge impact. Business wise, yes, good business, good design is good business. At the same time, you want to have a cost, it can have a huge impact in business wise. So
What is your pick?
Yeah, I think he's covered it brilliantly. And I just want to say that artists and passionate people, right? So they push the boundaries. Scientists and engineers then follow that, right? So somebody imagines out of the blue, and then scientists strive to achieve that dream. Otherwise, let's say this Museum of the Future, beautiful building. So I was in Dubai a couple of weeks back,
Yes.
right? So the building does not have any pillars and considered most beautiful building, right? So if you solve it from the science way, probably you'll not even do something like that. But then once you imagine and then put that challenge, and that's what we also do as designers. Sometimes we solve for the user what the user would want. Some engineering developers sometimes say that, oh, it might be too difficult. But once they have seen the value for the user standpoint, after that there's a push, right? And then engineering pushes. So
what I want to know now is probably, okay, in a simple terms, okay, if you can help us understand, okay, what sort of services that you have which can help customers, not necessarily only our customer, but the world. Okay, because it's just we talk about higher level design, this and that, and Steve Jobs and all. But what is it tomorrow? If any one of us sits in front of their customer, what should is there? What should they talk about you?
sure.
Yeah.
So anywhere there is a digital interface, right? So mostly between humans and computers or machines. Eventually, it could also be machines and machines, or yeah. So we come into the play because we make things simpler, easier, intuitive. So that is the simplest way to put it. In layman's terms, if I have to explain to somebody who is on the road, right? So I'd say that any mobile app that you use, if you find it easy to understand, to use, that's because somebody in user experience design has thought through well and then solved it. So that's what we do. And obviously after that, we do engineering for the front end layer. So back end algorithms. So that is that part we do not focus on today. Yeah, we focus on the experience part of it. Yeah.
Santosh, what's your hobby?
Yeah.
You as a person.
Yes. So
Probably you may like to talk about your family.
So I like adventure sports a lot because of my schooling. So I studied in military school, Bangalore, from class 6 to 12, being outside my home in hospital. got a good exposure to all of these adventure sports. Did my bungee jumping when I was in grade 11, and I've done scuba diving, hot air ballooning. So that excites me a lot. So adventure sports is my thing. I don't get to do too much of that, not because the insurance company says that they want to do it, but because my wife. So boxing is another passion which I have been able to relive again.
Practice on it?
No. He's a good footballer. He'll run away. So yeah, so I used to do boxing at school, and then now again I've started that. Found a good classes nearby, so that keeps me happy. And then yes, reading is something which I like to spend some time on. Mostly non-fiction, self-help, that category.
Without mic, it's better.
Okay.
Second one.
Yeah, I mean, I play a lot of football all my life. I still try to play, and I follow Arsenal big time. I saw some of the Anfield. I think Liverpool. I saw Liverpool fans somewhere in the creative side. I think. So I think football has been like it's a lot of things, right? It's just not a sport. It teaches you a lot of things. Like it's a team sport, right? So all my life, till school, I thought it's all about the guy who scores a goal. But then there's another 10 players who actually make him a hero. So a lot of people actually forget it. So then I understood what is the rigorous thing goes inside it, right? So why I follow Arsenal is these guys don't believe in just buying stars. They make stars, right? So they believe in their strong football academy, and the kind of the pass game they have, the tiki-taka pass and so on, the triangle and stuff. So that's something which actually kind of motivates, and that's a philosophy they always have. They don't spend too much. They run a very successful club, and with that club from Highbury, they move into a Emirates Stadium, which is a bigger one, right? So it's a very stable, profit-making, club as well, right? So that's one reason why I follow them. Apart from that, movies been a big life for me. I think somewhere from late 90s, it changed my way of starting looking at cinema, especially world cinema. And thanks to some of my friends who are into hardcore films. So I watched a lot of the great directors like Mexico, as a guy called Alexander, Inarito, Patrons, Birdman, and Hong Kong, as a guy called Walter Boy. So so I think the reason why I see this is like it's another way of storytelling, layer of information. Few of the movies, there's still few movies which are bounces. I have not dared to touch it. So people say, "Wow, it's a masterpiece." But you can't sit there for 15 minutes. So somebody says that, "Wow, look at the editing," right? I'm not able to understand. So it took time. You have to like actually cross the typical line of then go and understand, why silence also can be very violent, right? Sometimes. So I think it's a I see that it's another way of learning the culture of a different country as well. That's another reason I started loving it. Someday, sometime, maybe I would want to be part of an indie movie.
Oh wow.
A bit close to the Malayalam cinema.
It was such a pleasure hosting you today here and talking about design. And I'm quite sure everyone of you have loved knowing them. Okay? Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.